Something about the experience of being a Black biracial woman, I think a lot of people don't understand, and that's being fetishized. Now, on a surface level, most Black people know what that feels like, and they know what it looks like. However, being biracial is a different scenario. We all know that a lot of interracial relationships happen as a result of fetishization, but nobody talks about what that does to the kids. We acknowledge that biracial people have privilege without acknowledging the fact that we also are still treated less than human. Many white people gravitate towards us because they see us as a more palatable form of blackness. However, there are white people who are more disgusted by the idea of somebody being mixed race and, the white race not being pure anymore than they are with blackness. So they will tolerate black people as long as we stay over there. But then one of me comes around and they're like, wait, I'm related to you, or like my people created you. That's disgusting. So I got interrupted and then forgot to record, but I'm back. So, like I said, sometimes some white people will be more tolerable of a black person with two parents that they're not related to as opposed to a mixed race person. I noticed this a lot in my family. I mostly grew up around my white family with white people, white friends, all that stuff. I did have black friends, but I only had like two or three. And one of them I'm still friends with today that I met in elementary school. But I had very little exposure to my black culture. It was very confusing for me growing up because my white family didn't really know how to teach me about my blackness, so they just never brought it up. And they tried to treat me as if I wasn't any different than a white person, even though I had vastly different experiences than they did. And so a lot of my racist family members, even if they weren't outwardly racist, they still only tolerated me and like my dad, who's black. They never really treated us like we were human. They always treated us as if we were some special guest, even if we were related to them. I don't think some of them could ever come to terms with the fact that their descendants were no longer purely white. Yet, if they saw a black person on the street somewhere or, like, I don't know, at the campground, they wouldn't necessarily be racist towards them. But as I've said in the past, tolerating black people is not respecting black people. My problem was I couldn't just step away like black people could. Black people can remove themselves from white spaces and go home and be perfectly fine. I couldn't do that.